LPGA just did everything that the WNBA should have been doing this season. They did it all correct in literally one day.
A'ja Wilson just got hit with the kind of scandal that destroys careers overnight. The WNBA superstar allegedly faces suspension after a cheating controversy exploded across social media faster than her last championship celebration. 2 MVP titles and multiple rings apparently mean nothing when you get caught in this mess. The allegations center around Wilson's recent behavior that crossed several professional lines. Reports confirm she violated league conduct policies through actions that shocked even her closest teammates. But here's where it gets juicy. This isn't just about breaking rules. Wilson allegedly manipulated situations behind closed doors that gave her unfair advantages both on and off the court. League officials discovered evidence of Wilson engaging in activities that directly violated her player contract. The investigation revealed she had been working around established protocols for months. What makes this even more explosive is that Wilson tried to cover her tracks by deleting communications and pressuring witnesses to stay quiet. The WNBA launched a formal investigation after multiple complaints surfaced from different sources within the organization. Wilson's camp initially denied everything, calling the accusations baseless attacks from jealous competitors. But then the evidence started piling up like free throws at a charity game. Internal documents show Wilson received warnings about her conduct as early as last season. She ignored every single one of them. The league tried to handle this quietly through private meetings and unofficial warnings. Wilson apparently thought she was untouchable because of her star status and championship history. Here's what really sealed her fate. Video evidence emerged showing Wilson in compromising situations that directly contradict her public statements. The footage is so damaging that even her biggest supporters can't defend what they're seeing. Legal experts say this evidence alone could end her career permanently. The suspension announcement sent shockwaves through the basketball world. Fans who worshipped Wilson as a role model now feel completely betrayed. Her endorsement deals are already under review, with several major brands considering immediate termination of their contracts. Wilson's legal team scrambled to control the damage, but the cat was already out of the bag. The timing couldn't be worse because this scandal breaks right after Caitlin Clark signed that massive LPGA deal worth millions. While Clark celebrates her success, Wilson watches her reputation crumble in real time. Former teammates refuse to comment publicly, but sources close to the situation describe a locker room environment where Wilson acted like rules didn't apply to her. This explains so much about the recent tension and social media drama that's been building for months. The WNBA has zero tolerance for this type of misconduct, especially from high-profile players who are supposed to represent the league's values. Wilson's suspension could last the entire upcoming season, depending on how deep this investigation goes. Let's rewind to where this whole disaster actually started. Caitlin Clark's massive LPGA sponsorship deal that sent A'ja Wilson completely over the edge. Clark just secured a multi-million-dollar partnership with the LPGA Tour that made Wilson lose her absolute mind on social media. The deal reportedly spans 2 years and includes cross-promotional opportunities, brand partnerships, and marketing rights that extend through 2026. Clark didn't just sign a simple endorsement contract. She became the face of women's golf crossover marketing, connecting basketball fans to an entirely different sport, and this drove Wilson absolutely insane. Wilson watched Clark land this golf money while she struggled to get basic recognition for her own MVP level performances. The frustration had been building for months as Clark dominated headlines and endorsement deals despite Wilson's superior basketball resume.
This video, how this Pro-Am event originally wasn't even going to be televised, but there were so many fans who were emailing the organization saying, how can we watch Caitlin? Can we come to the event? Can you live stream it? All of these things. And it ended up being put on television. And that was great. Fans were really excited about that. There was so much buzz online. She was trending on Twitter, all of the things. And the LPGA was promoting the crap out of this event. And they also did something really smart by pairing her up with their currently #1 golfer in the world.
2 championship rings and multiple MVP awards apparently mean nothing in today's marketing world. Here's what really triggered the meltdown. Clark's LPGA announcement came the same week Wilson finished another dominant season that barely got any media coverage. While Clark was trending on social media for hitting golf balls, Wilson was sitting at home watching her own achievements get ignored by mainstream sports media. The LPGA partnership wasn't just about money, it represented everything Wilson hated about the current state of women's basketball. Clark gets rewarded for bringing attention and buzz, while veteran players who actually win championships get treated like background characters in their own league. But wait, it gets even more ridiculous. The LPGA deal included promotional events where Clark would partner with top professional golfers for televised exhibitions.
So good, she's got me following golf. And thanks to her, I now know who Nelly Korda is. And if there's one thing we can count on with Clark, it's that she's gonna draw a crowd. From the court to the course.
Nike helped broker parts of the partnership because they wanted to build Clark's image as a crossover athlete who transcends individual sports. Wilson's jealousy reached dangerous levels when she realized Clark was making more money from golf than most WNBA players earn from actually playing basketball. The financial disparity became impossible to ignore when reports suggested Clark's LPGA deal was worth somewhere between $6 and $8 million over just 2 years. This is where Wilson made her fatal mistake. Instead of focusing on her own brand and achievements, she became obsessed with tearing down Clark's success. The resentment poisoned her judgment and led to the reckless behavior that eventually got her suspended from the league. Clark's golf partnership represented a new model for athlete marketing that Wilson couldn't understand or compete with. While Wilson focused on traditional basketball excellence, Clark built a media empire that attracted sponsors from completely different industries. The contrast couldn't be more obvious. Professional golf fans started following Clark on social media, expanding her reach beyond basketball audiences. The LPGA promoted her participation in their events like she was already a professional golfer. Wilson watched this crossover success and felt completely left behind by an industry that values entertainment over pure athletic achievement. What makes this even more pathetic is that Wilson had every opportunity to build her own brand and pursue similar crossover opportunities. Instead, she chose to waste energy complaining about Clark's success, while her own reputation slowly self-destructed through poor decisions and public outbursts. Now, here's where Wilson completely lost her mind. She took to social media with a tweet that basically signed her own career death warrant. Wilson posted, "So you telling me you can miss shots and still get golf money now? That's all it took," without mentioning Clark's name directly, but everyone knew exactly who she was targeting. The internet exploded faster than a Wilson three-pointer in the fourth quarter. Fans immediately connected the dots and started calling out Wilson for being a bitter, jealous veteran who couldn't handle someone else's success. But Wilson wasn't done embarrassing herself yet. She doubled down with additional posts that made her look even more desperate and petty. Twitter became a battlefield within hours of Wilson's initial tweet. Clark's supporters flooded the replies with statistics showing how Clark brought record viewership and attendance to women's basketball. Wilson's defenders tried fighting back by listing her championships and MVP awards, but the damage was already done. Here's what made it absolutely brutal. Wilson's tweet started trending nationwide, but not in a good way. Sports commentators, celebrities, and even casual fans began roasting her for the obvious jealousy and unprofessional behavior. The backlash was so intense that Wilson eventually tried walking back her comments. Wilson claimed her tweet was taken out of context and that she was just joking around with friends. Nobody bought that excuse for even a second because the timing and wording made her intentions crystal clear. She was attacking Clark's golf deal because she couldn't stand watching someone else succeed. The social media meltdown revealed Wilson's true character to millions of people who previously respected her as a champion and role model. Her petty jealousy destroyed years of carefully built reputation in just a few hours of reckless posting. And the worst part? Clark never even responded to any of it. Clark's silence made Wilson look even more pathetic and desperate for attention. While Wilson was having public tantrums on social media, Clark was busy signing more endorsement deals and building her empire. The contrast between their professional behavior behavior couldn't have been more obvious to everyone watching, but the social media disaster was just the beginning. Wilson's tweets caught the attention of WNBA officials who were already monitoring her behavior for other concerning incidents. The public nature of her attacks on a fellow player violated several league conduct policies. Wilson's management team tried doing damage control by having her post a half-hearted apology that fooled absolutely nobody. The fake apology actually made things worse because it showed Wilson couldn't even take responsibility for her own actions without trying to save face. This is when things got really ugly. Fans started digging into Wilson's past social media posts and found a pattern of passive-aggressive comments about other successful players. The tweet about Clark wasn't an isolated incident, but part of a larger behavioral problem that had been brewing for months. League sponsors began questioning whether Wilson represented the values they wanted associated with their brands. Several companies started internal discussions about potentially ending their partnerships with Wilson if her behavior continued deteriorating. The financial consequences were about to get very real for someone who thought she was untouchable because of her basketball achievements. Wilson's social media meltdown became a cautionary tale about how quickly jealousy and poor judgment can destroy a professional athlete's career and reputation in the modern digital age. What nobody talks about is the bigger picture. Wilson's meltdown exposed the massive cracks running through the entire WNBA that threatened to destroy the league from within. This isn't just about two players feuding on social media. This is about a fundamental divide between old school veterans and the new generation that's completely reshaping women's basketball. The marketing disparity between established stars and rising phenoms has created a toxic environment where championship-winning players feel like second-class citizens in their own league. Wilson represents dozens of veteran athletes who dominated for years but never received the financial rewards or media attention they deserved for their achievements. Here's the brutal reality. Clark earned more money in endorsements during her rookie season than Wilson made in her entire professional career combined. That kind of financial inequality breeds resentment and jealousy that eventually explodes into public drama and professional misconduct. The WNBA front office has completely failed to manage this growing tension between different generations of players. Instead of creating marketing opportunities for all their stars, they put all their promotional weight behind Clark while basically ignoring everyone else who helped build the league's foundation. Wilson's suspension reveals how desperate some veteran players have become for recognition and financial security, but instead of channeling that frustration productively, Wilson chose to attack the one player who actually brought mainstream attention and investment to women's basketball. The league's handling of this situation shows how unprepared they are for managing superstar personalities and the complex dynamics that come with rapid growth and increased media coverage. Wilson's behavior problems should have been addressed months ago through proper counseling and support systems. Now, here's where it gets really concerning. Multiple sources within the organization confirm that Wilson's misconduct goes far beyond social media outbursts and jealous tweets. The cheating allegations involve violations of team protocols, manipulation of league processes, and abuse of her veteran status to gain unfair advantages. Wilson allegedly used her influence to pressure younger players into covering for her rule violations. She created a hostile environment where teammates felt they couldn't report her behavior without facing retaliation. This explains why the investigation took so long. People were scared to come forward with evidence. The suspension sends a clear message that star status and championship history won't protect players who violate league policies and create toxic workplace environments. Wilson thought her MVP awards made her untouchable, but the WNBA proved that nobody is above accountability. What makes this even more damaging is that Wilson's conduct problems coincided with the league's biggest growth period in decades. While the WNBA was gaining mainstream acceptance and corporate investment, one of their biggest stars was actively working to undermine that progress through petty jealousy and unprofessional behavior. The broader implications extend beyond just Wilson's career. Other veteran players are watching this situation closely to see how the league handles misconduct from established stars. The precedent being set here will determine whether the WNBA can maintain its professional standards while managing the egos and expectations of high-profile athletes. Wilson's fall from grace represents everything wrong with how some players have responded to the league's evolution and increased visibility. Instead of embracing change and finding ways to benefit from growth, she chose destruction and self-sabotage that ultimately destroyed her own career prospects. The legal ramifications of Wilson's suspension could permanently end her professional basketball career and destroy any chance of financial recovery from the reputation damage she caused herself. WNBA player contracts include specific conduct clauses that Wilson violated multiple times, giving the league legal grounds to terminate her employment entirely. Wilson's legal team faces an uphill battle defending behavior that was captured on video and documented through digital communications. The evidence against her is so overwhelming that even the best attorneys in sports law are telling her to prepare for the worst-case scenario. Contract termination isn't just possible anymore, it's probable. The suspension triggers automatic review of all Wilson's endorsement deals and sponsorship agreements. Major brands included morality clauses specifically designed to protect themselves from situations exactly like this one. Companies can terminate their partnerships immediately without paying remaining contract amounts if Wilson's conduct damages their brand reputation. Here's what makes her legal situation even worse. The investigation uncovered evidence that Wilson may have violated federal regulations regarding gambling and insider information. If prosecutors decide to pursue criminal charges, Wilson could face jail time in addition to losing her basketball career and endorsement income. Wilson's attempts to cover up her misconduct by deleting communications and pressuring witnesses could result in additional obstruction charges that carry serious legal penalties. The cover-up always gets you in more trouble than the original crime, and Wilson's case proves that principle perfectly. Her legal expenses are already astronomical and will continue mounting as multiple investigations proceed simultaneously. Wilson faces potential lawsuits from teammates, the league, sponsors, and possibly federal agencies depending on what additional evidence emerges during the ongoing investigation. But the financial destruction goes way beyond legal fees. Wilson's lifetime earning potential in professional sports has been completely eliminated. No team will sign a player with this kind of baggage, and no sponsor will associate their brand with someone who represents everything wrong with professional athletics. The precedent set by Wilson's suspension sends a clear message to other WNBA players about the consequences of unprofessional behavior and conduct violations. League officials want everyone to understand that championship history and MVP awards won't protect players who damage the organization's reputation and growth prospects. Wilson's case study will be taught in sports management courses as an example of how quickly poor decisions can destroy a successful athletic career. Her fall from grace happened so fast that she went from MVP candidate to unemployable pariah in less than 6 months. The broader implications affect how the WNBA handles future misconduct cases and establishes clear standards for player behavior both on and off the court. Wilson's suspension proves that the league prioritizes long-term institutional success over protecting individual star players who threaten organizational stability. Meanwhile, Clark continues building her empire while Wilson's career burns to the ground through her own poor choices and jealous behavior. The contrast between their trajectories shows exactly what happens when athletes choose different paths for handling success and competition. Wilson's legacy will forever be defined by this scandal rather than her basketball achievements. That's the ultimate tragedy. She destroyed everything she worked for because she couldn't handle someone else's success. Her suspension serves as a warning about the price of jealousy and unprofessional conduct in modern professional sports. If you're enjoying this breakdown of how jealousy and poor decisions can completely destroy a professional athlete's career, please hit that subscribe button to support the channel and see more content exposing the drama behind your favorite sports stories.